Tomás, profesora en la Universidad del Trento, Italia. Allí imparte clases de Derecho Constitucional comparado, Protección Internacional y Supranacional de los Derechos Fundamentales y organiza las clínicas jurídicas relacionadas con la sanidad. Forma parte del Europe Laboratory, grupo de investigación que explora los retos jurídicos que plantean los avances científicos y es editora asociada del Europe. Muchas gracias, profesora. Es un placer estar tanto en el primer rato online. A también estoy teniendo las condiciones para que me debate. When started, everything here, but I do what you think better. I mean, but sitting the she's saying that that's really now. And so, today I want to share with you some thoughts around these very complex concept of brains, and when I discuss the perfect site and all the possible topic for this animal, and it's all well formed. I told him about my research and once works, and he said, well, what we can all place to work until more 30 minutes about things. It's almost impossible to go in the whole that will anyway. So usually it will maybe a little bit important, but I really like to discuss the topic. And I would like to hear from you if you understand whether the things I built during the last few years make sense and in the from the shared or not. So kindly give me a book that's possible in practice. Right from the origin of the concept and the origin of the concept is obviously all historical. So we can start from the historical concept of race. But I think that even starting from the very beginning, what we can the reason for the rest of the concept. So this concept, since the very beginning, relates in extinction dynamics. At first, it was used to say by the about policies to explain people from different religions from positions of power. If you are familiar with the declaration of the labor of the fall, something like that. And one of the first documents in the idea of the national production in Earth, so political obviously in both in all of it. So at first, specifically had a relationship with an idea of the theological part superiority. After these, obviously, the first encounter with something different, in the different natural reality, this leads people things and not whole American continent. And here the concept was used linked to an idea not only of theological superiority, but also of mental superiority. So this was considered the very origin of the concept. What is interesting is that if we have a look at the different fields that try to reason around this concept and the more reference not only inspirations, but also on for all big scientists. I mean, what is evident is that from the very beginning, the idea of race is an invention. That is something that is not real, so at the beginning. It has been defined as a the most of it as an instrument of the invention of something the revolution that was invented in the last 500 years. So since the very beginning, this concept was used to develop relations of power, because and obviously it's called the mind, the dynamic of domination and subordination. And this the idea of power is behind the interests of constitutional lawyers, in particular in this concept of race. Obviously, at first, there was no popularization around the concept, also due to the new systems of the political institution able to move things theory universal. But in a short while, this concept became part of the European philosophy of modernity based on the need of expansion. So the idea of a self-proclamation of superiority was addressed through this concept of race. So according to some authors, there often be the people in the brain, the theoretical development of the brains, although based on religious, biological, and cultural aspects, led to this kind of development that is necessary for the construction of the theory of the modern state, natural rights, sovereignty, international law. So it is a concept that is at the root of some of the objects that lawyers are used to deal with. So this with regard to the historicology of this, it's just in a nutshell. I think it requires a good course, but just to have an idea of the origin of the concept. Then obviously the point is that after a certain moment, when you move, so to say, from the theological aspect to a moral one, silence acting always change the terms of the whole discourse. So the theorization of race as a biological concept at a certain moment was in its very is transformed into a real science. And here we go from the most fundamental theories that were inaugurated in the 18th century that based on organizations on some observable principal traits. I think they're all familiar with established around kind of questions in color that in the one they were the demonstration of the flavor of the field itself, were so diversified according to the elements that were taken into consideration that they did not think that it's on this two words in collaboration. So I'll speak to the early 20th century when race was conceived as a reflection of invisible differences related to genes that could be the first by obscure and figure, and they already understood so that they could have an impact on the appearance of a human being. Although when things, I don't know if it can call it silence, like it was the silence of the time, for sure. Nowadays, it is not referred to these as scientific studies. But all of these led to what familiar on the documents, and I took them from a scientific journey on the left, the description of the physical characters of the physical traits of the Italian race, and then the other document, obviously even more famous is the Manifesto della Monarchia, which was basically the very beginning for the cultural racial legislation in Italy. And here, I mean, it's impossible to read, but it's interesting because it is a document that was signed by very vocal scientists, and here they call first the human rights who existed, and then there are some other big and small races, but I think that the two most interesting points are the first one, human race who exists, and the concept of race is a purely scientific concept. So this is the idea that there was a scientific reality that was at the foundation of the politics that were being studied all the years around with like that. Okay, so this is more or less the part of the story that in all know. So it's interesting also to understand very quickly, I would say, that the role of science in history was dual, because at first it was used of this non-instrumental way to show that racism existed. And after that, nowadays, science, it was shown that it was shown as that racism not existed. So the word science refers to a early existence of racism and the politics on this idea. And afterwards, the evolution of science was the reason for discarding that kind of political attitudes. So, it is now a today's role of silence. What does silence tell us now is that human races do not exist. So we went to explanation around the 70s when it's writing by developing the apportionment of human diversity and human several tools. He understood that most dramatic variation occurs in human populations and not among the sectarian version works. So basically demonstrated that the diversities that are within one of the racial categories that were identified are much higher than the variations that we can find between two different racial groups. And was the moment that in science told everyone that races, human rights, they're not there. We were in the 70s. So we see which is the dual role of science and the relationship with the politics. Very well. We don't have time to go all these big in class. But I'm pretty sure that people try to locate these people in countries around the world who will fail most of them. And we will not only think with the dark counting, but we will with the dark contains as well. I don't know, felt everyone in your mind that continuous longful. Probably none of them might send India, very line from the view of one where that we're still with. About two pieces will be dropping this person of the known existence of human races. So, from a certain point in history, science, type science, biological science, seems to step out of the role and let things to another kind of science, so social science. Here then, I mean, just things to be this slide, one of the international convention on elimination of all forms of operating discrimination, and by freedom to fortify the level racial discrimination, and distinction of exclusion, restriction or preference based on race, color, disability, or national or ethnic origin, which of the purpose or effect of unifying will include the recognition, enjoyment, or exercise on equal of human rights and fundamental freedoms in the political, economic, social, or any other field of public life. So what we see here in the 60s is that it was evident that race goes beyond the biological pole. So in the Peace Declaration, there is the idea of race, but the focus is on racial discrimination, and it is here that racial discrimination can be limited not only race, but also to other different factors. Okay, so thinking could change from the biological sciences to the social sciences. So starting from this moment, saying the idea is that race exists, or races exist, but not as biological realities, rather than as psychological reality. The predominant idea from the 70s onward. So this was a recent evolution of the concept. What about the relationship with the law? When it becomes something basic, But there is something that has been quite widely discussed, and is the relationship between the concept of race and the text of constitutions around the world. So the very first modern constitution that contains a reference to race is the U.S. Constitution Statement Amendment 70, which refers to the discrimination which forbids discrimination on the basis of race. It is well known that the concept was inserted at that moment, but required ages to point it on. But it's still the first time it appeared into a text, and it's there. And that more or less the same formula can be found in terms of the post-war constitutions. It's also interesting to note that there are many other texts of more recent constitutions that do contain a reference to race. It's about 140 constitutions that will, it's interesting to see that while fewer than half of the constitutions that were adopted before 1970s include the protection of equal rights on the basis of race ethnicity, 89% of those adopted between 2000 and 2009, and 79% of those adopted between 2010 and 2017. So there was an only in which the references in constitution to race raised, and then a small decrease. Still, the question is maybe why, or where the discussion around the use of this term in constitutions. This is Article 3 of the Italian Constitution. I think you are more than that familiar with that, and if I can understand the Italian formula. Tutti i cittadini hanno pari dignità sociale davanti alla legge, senza distinzioni, per classe, di religione, comunità, sociale. I think it's interesting to see how already in 1946-47, when there were the activity of the Constitutional Assembly, the writing down the text of the Constitution, there has been a discussion about the need of the term race into the Constitution. Here, I just will consider some of the people taking part to the Constitutional Assembly, just to give you an idea. One of the members of the Constitutional Assembly said, I maintain my amendment here for a religion of the Liverpool term. Suddenly, out of an act of import to the Italian private communities who have really known it several of us, that it would be the which that the word race be replaced with the word remote. Since the Italian immigrants were victims of the racist campaign against by fascism, it's something that accepting the wish also corresponds to an acknowledgement of the recovery of a perfect positional equality among all Italian citizens. So there were policies from the civil society asking for a of that term change with another one. And so things we cannot accept this proposal because in this part of the article there is a precise reference to something that really happened in Italy, to the fact that certain racial principles were used as an incidental policy. For this reason, meaning the fact that this reference to race constitutes all the political class that didn't happen and that we want to condemn, today we very much believe that the word race should be reformed. This does not mean that it should have any derogatory meaning for terms to belong to races other than the Italian race. One only has the opening with architects to define that men are divided in equal for equal or five races. The fact that the English term in order to deny the concept attached in and affirm the absolute equality of all citizens and essentially to this of the human non-method. But in the money in which they believed in the existence of human races, they still considered putting the word place into the Constitution something mustard in order to take another against what happened in the past. So, another answer, I understand that there are those who wish to free themselves from this third word. In Italy in 1946, the word race was defined as a first word. From these racism that seems like the first things are about persecution. but it is precisely a reaction of what happened with the multi-faceted regimes in order to clearly deny any authority that there is in unwilling votes and the sinister feelings fabricated in this regard, that we also with the meaning of historical contingency want to affirm the human and civil quality of race. So these are the reasons behind the presence of the word race in the Italian Constitution. In 2014, a couple of anthropologists filed the petition in order to have the word race removed. The people say it does not correspond to a scientific reality. Constitutional press are deceiving themselves because they are using a word that does not have a scientific form, and there was quite a debate. Exactly the similar debate that was France to a similar discussion. Maybe you have heard about that. In 2018, they were just one step away from removing the word race from the Constitution. Then the Constitutional Authority process may not work to amend, but just by accident, I would say, because they already had a unanimous vote for the elimination of the word race from the Constitution. And even before in France, in 2016 and 2017, legislation was adopted to eliminate the word from in a law. So in one cases, or in most of the things, also the word race was substituted with totally about it. So what about that? Which were the arguments that people thought the discussion was much further than what happened there in Italy, and here France tried to think some theories to the activists, which sounds horrible, but it's understandable theory. Versus to say the critical race theory we are all familiar with. So the idea of removing the word race in order to avoid reference to that in the public discourse against the idea of mobilizing the concept of race in order to make it visible and to avoid the display emotions that are both embraced. These are basically the two closer that flashing. So here in Congo of eliminated theory, we had an ontological argument. What I said before, the word race must be eliminated because there is a reality it does not exist. What we pick that race theory answer to that? It would answer, I think, more or less what Professor Landa was saying last week. Maybe there is a need of evidence of law in relation to violence. The fact that race does not exist as a biological entity does not mean that it has no space in the sport. For sure, they exist as a social political reality, and with that, only to control from into consideration by the legal sport. So the focus is not, according to the racial theory or the big difference theory, is not the existence of universal race and categorization, but is the value of conceptions, need, and usage of race that the law has to work. So there is a challenge yet for the some authors in the idea of deducing automatically a legal rule from a scientific reality. It is well to deduce a rule, a legal rule from what science tells us. So the public expression of racism is not prohibited because it is a false theory, but because the public expression of racism and mass remarks is considered harmful to the democratic fairness that are expressed in the Constitution. So the law basically has to be an autonomous evaluation of its situation that is not necessarily linked only to the scientific function. For something like for someone like me who's studied all of the biologies, it's hard to accept it because in many cases we say that the legislator is bad in not listening to the science. So it happened so now forward, but moving these thoughts, both of the political, historical, and topological social implication of the concept of very peculiar. We need to adopt the as one year view. And link one city about why it's but the same discussion was carried out for quite recently in Germany. We read about that, but in the end they decided not to amend the Constitution, and it's interesting to see why. They basically say that there was no possible alternative, or there was not an alternative that would have been that we get benefit the same level of protection. So the idea was to substitute the restriction, things like things. So the direct reference is once again race, and they wanted to say, like the Italian Republic, the proposal was to delete the term that's it, and add at the end of the sentence that discrimination would have been prohibited outside Okay, so based on the racist based on racist motivations. But the problem is that using this formula, the subjective element would have been entered into the evaluation of the behavior. So the level of protection would have been lower. And this is the reason because why we want to decide to put the text of the Constitution of the rules. So this is part of the discussion. Obviously, according to the context we take into consideration, the sporting story in Trento and in South Africa, no one ever suggested the possibility of removing the word race that appears so many times in the text of the Constitution. But here the approach is ultimately different. So they start from an idea of racialism that is enshrined in Section 1 of the South African Constitution as an idea towards which to start. And all of the references to race in the text of the Constitution are exactly the only to prevent the persecution of public and private forms of discrimination and to address the effects of class and unborn racialism. So we take racialism, but in order to reach that specific goal, it is necessary to put race into all consideration. So I think this different approach than those adopted by people who are suggesting doing references to race into their constitutional text. If it's something overcoming in the discussions like over, can we say that there is nothing more to go? Science told us how the situation is. Sociologists think their best in order to let us know that this is a concept that is entrenched in our societies, and that in order to fight discrimination, we have to think of what knows the existence of the concept and the matrix over each user. I think that there are things that I will be short, but there are at least three reasons for thinking at the level of attention high. The first one is related to race and scientific research. Because if we have a look at military studies, in particular, the market studies carried out after the completion of the Seminario project in 2001, the method is not as unique as we might think. So even in the scientific world, the discussion about the scientific existence of convinces the principles human beings inertable. This is just a very brief chronology, but in 2000, Collins they declared the inexistence of a genetic basis for race. So right before the completion of the Genome Project, they said no, human race is just one possible subdivision. So 2002, there was an article published in Science, genetics based on 52 populations still be clustered into 5 geographic countries, were in Europe, Africa, East Asia, Oceania, and the Americas. So we think that the genetic composition of the human genome, so it is possible to classify populations in ways, and by chance things like which, as those identified in the really old studies, must even defined as studies. 2003, an answer in the Journal of Medicine. In the contrary, although everyone from Genesis to layperson thinking is the word race as if it were scientific category with rare exceptions, no one offers a quantifiable definition of what a race is in general. Thus, 2018, New York Times, that is simply no longer possible to ignore other genetic differences among races. I'm just speaking very quickly, but if you're interested, I'm not talking about the reason that coincided to some good things are people from science that have data in their answer. They are working around the answer. So the problem is that when it's a category that nowadays is very much based in science and medical research, they rely on research. The problem is how do you identify research? What people mean with research? Are they making reference to genetic variation? Are they making reference to something else? And if they don't, it's a thing, but even for example, in many cases, they use the idea of the self-reporting race. In many studies, self-reporting race. How can self-reported race be a scientific variable is obviously all questionable. But once again, I am talking about the full world of scientific interaction. I'm not talking about things that are there that we cannot hold science. Science is working around this idea, precision medicine. For the whole human population, clustered into different groups or meeting different features, and try to understand which are both diagnostic, therapeutic, and interventions that are offered according to the specificity of that specific group of people. This once again implies an activity of categorization that is dangerous for that rates some different options that So as lawyers, we have to evaluate what if in 10 years genetic studies come and tell us that actually I know since early that something close to an idea of race exists. What if they say it is possible to create a group of human people according to their genetic features? How can we handle it? Are we waiting for that? All concept problems involve the word brings from the Constitution. Will it be the same? I don't know, the open inspection. I don't know things will over happen, but we're working on segmentation of population. Do not concrete obviously, and what I think clear is the fact that no kind of scientific research, the idea of superiority and inferiority of these groups if they are on more. There are people that are more exposed to some diseases, and that's effective with regard to specific pharmaceuticals. So we have to be ready and to understand that also with I would skip the first part because it is long. So first problem, race and medical scientific research. Second problem, just brief reference clinical study say something more. Race and technology. What was happening with social recognition? How can we deal with the fact that AI systems are not able to recognize dark people when they were? Why they are able to detect Caucasian people? Why isn't there? Why does it happen that talking white black it's more dangerous than chopping white because it will be stalked and that's question and supervised by the people in the shop. And artificial intelligence systems are working in this. This is all related to the problem of intrinsic violence. So this is that artificial intelligence systems are basically replicating biases that are originally in my book. Yeah, there is a quote, I'm not worried about machines taking over the world. I'm worried about the insularity and arrogance in the AI community, especially if the current fight and demands for people in the field. The people creating the technology are a big part of the system. If many are actively excluded by its solution, this technology will benefit a few while harming a perimeter. And with regard to this quote, I will immediately the third is that obviously for lawyers is the most common. And it is the relationship between race and politics and the resurgence of these forces that will be relegated into the past. I think they're all familiar with the decision by the Supreme Court in 2023 when the justice ruled that liability for them by the University of North Carolina and by the followed by the Constitutional protection clause. Requires faithful within by government entities. So basically it was identified as becoming the affirmative action of the schools. And when we saw, the link when we saw that we need more diversity in the world of artificial intelligence, the fact that saying that all eating less and not take race into consideration as a variable when attending students will be something that problematically relates to the diversity of the composition of school populations. Here, if you know, in the summary of the decision was Justice Roberts, and the majority on the one side is Stephen must be treated based on people or experiences as an individual and not on the difference. So, on the other side, the minority opinions of minority, the majority's decision has involved decades of precedent and momentous progress and humanity that the future rule of power blindness as a constitutional principle in an endemic several side. With the whole probably not, I think we heard or something about more words like President something here. And so one wants to form a society that is all blind and merit-based, wants to end the government policy of trying to essentially engineer race and gender into every aspect of public and private life. On outputs of this declaration will be similar in lot of executive orders, in particular we can put on the political and useful government diversity of political modernization programs on the preferencing and the explanation and restoring more political opportunity. Each target and I quote legally and immoral discriminates and thought with governments seeing that the moral race and sex-based preferences. And the other one, ending radical indoctrination in culture and physical spinning, which aims at cutting federal funding to schools that engage discriminatory treatment and indoctrination, including the promoting discriminatory, packaging, and quality. We can read into that the definition of discriminatory particular ideology. It tells a lot about all of the things we have addressed up until now. So, just to conclude, I think there are good reasons for concern. The two old options in the US where once again, Roberts, the way to stop discrimination on the basis of race is to stop discriminating on the basis of race. If you call the methods theory. On the other side, the way to stop discrimination on the basis of race is to speak openly and on the subject of race and to apply the Constitution without still thinking like ultimate effects of semblance of racial discrimination. I've always agreed with the second idea, but I feel that something that is written within those executive orders is even beyond the first one. So it only brings back that it's not only a matter of eliminating race, it's creating the attachment between race. So the question is those that, and I'm not only very much working in the United States. I think that the book you're working a lot on top is another issue that is very much related to what data and now what we break down in the executive order. So things that follow scientifically as your political discourse. And the problem is that all of the confusion, all of the opacity of the concept, because it is difficult to grasp the meaning of the concept, because according to the discipline we take into consideration, the meaning of the concept changes. Scientific race is not an anthropological race, it's not social race, it's not linear race. This opacity has always longer that race a very dominant instrument of the power and the thought of the in 1998, I guess in actually more like the principle of instant ideological metamorphosis of racism, and she's precisely in the fact that the argument of biologically informed races has been replaced by the absolutization of differences between outputs. On page 1, but if you look what is in the psychical orders, there is this idea of the white, although I mean, it's once again the word of Albert on particular one of the monster. People spoke of the normal or constitutional law. I think it is a bit long, sorry. I tried to summarize as much as possible, but I'm looking at comments.